The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim was a defining moment, a consummation of years of waiting and excitement for me when it came out in 2011. I'd played Morrowind for hundreds of hours, enduring the glitches and standing in awe at the incredible storyline. I'd played Oblivion for hundreds of hours more, blown away by the then cutting-edge Radiant AI and the gorgeous high fantasy world design. Skyrim looked like it would take the richness, variety, and enormousness of Morrowind and combine it with the comparative intuitiveness and visual focus of Oblivion. I was so excited for Skyrim, in fact, that even though my parents didn't allow me and my brothers to play M-rated games in their house, I gave my friend $60 and had him go pre-order it for me. He picked both of our copies up on launch day, and we went to his house after school, broke out a couple of TVs and a couple cases of Mountain Dew Throwback, and played until it wasn't Fred Us anymore. Then I took it home and played it on the TV in my room after my parents went to sleep every night for months, putting in hundreds of hours. It changed the way I looked at video games, the open world genre, and the world itself. I mean, every day when I went out and saw those rocky mountains, I thought, damn, that looks just like Skyrim. You did too, admit it. For years, I've held out hope that Bethesda would bestow upon us a sequel to one of the Xbox 360, PS3 generation's greatest games. Finally, last year, they announced at E3 they were working on something with the Elder Scrolls name on it or something. Elder Scrolls 6, I guess? But listen, Elder Scrolls fans all over the internet went wild. I was amazed to have seen the long-awaited announcement as well. But deep down inside, I couldn't get on the party, Silt Strider. Something deep inside was nagging at me. I'm just not that excited for the Elder Scrolls 6. Here's why. First, to get on the good side of things, right? I like to be fair. The Elder Scrolls 6 probably isn't coming for another couple of years, maybe even 4 or 5. This will be the longest wait yet between the Elder Scrolls games, and that gives Bethesda plenty of time to design things, to create things, and I'm hoping it's going to be a good thing. Also, there are tons of locations in Tamriel that the game could take place, and we've seen so little of so many of them except in the Elder Scrolls Online, that being in a new, fresh location really is a very exciting thing. Other than the inclusion of Skyrim Grandma, there's still so little about the game that we know for sure. Todd Howard has assured us that the entire staff of Bethesda will be giving their utmost attention to the Elder Scrolls 6 when the time comes for development, which would indicate that development really hasn't started just yet. But even despite all this apparently good news, I constantly find myself thinking, what does that attention that they're going to be giving the game look like? Are they using all that manpower to turn on the gas and cook? Or are they just picking their buttholes for the next couple of years, cranking out the same old Bethesda bumbles we've come to know? What exactly can we expect from our limited information? We have 3 things to go by as we look forward to the Elder Scrolls 6. The first 2 are obvious: official information from Bethesda, and rumors from people who claim to know what's going on there. Now, if you're like me, you've been keeping up with the news and the rumors, and so you've probably heard plenty of that. But there is a third category of information that's just as or more important than the news and rumors, and that is what has been going on in gaming since the last Elder Scrolls game, and more specifically, what's been going on over at Bethesda in the open world department, since that's the kind of game we're talking about here. Skyrim changed the way that the open world games work, look, and feel. We can never take that away from it, but look at all these games that have built upon Skyrim's open world, ultra-immersive formula since then. I've taken the liberty of marking the ones that do Skyrim better than Skyrim does with mustaches. You'll see that on this list are Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. You'll also note that Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 are the only games other than Far Cry 5, which I'll be doing a video about next week, that are not marked. I recognize that Fallout 4 was widely beloved and acclaimed when it first came out, but in the years since, I've seen a steep decline in interest. And as we all know, Fallout 76 was one of the greatest disgraces in recent gaming history. Just terrible. In the meantime, Breath of the Wild perfected its mechanics and systems to create possibly the greatest open-world game of all time. Red Dead Redemption 2 shoots Skyrim dead when we're talking about the sheer amount of content, and its cinematic cutscenes and incredible dialogue have set it apart as one of the greatest games of all time, period. Skyrim doesn't even really have cutscenes, and its dialogue is about on par with the Brady Bunch. Assassin's Creed Odyssey has gorgeous settings, epic sea battles, and fun combat. Horizon Zero Dawn has some of the coolest creature design I've ever seen, and super interesting combat and stealth mechanics. Metal Gear Solid 5 has the most badassest dude I've ever seen in my whole entire life, and the most ridiculously dopest opening sequence I've ever seen in a video game. And this is just to name a few. We haven't even touched The Witcher 3 yet. Maybe because I never played it. Long and short of it is that Skyrim, while it was top dog in 2011, fell behind almost immediately to other games that took inspiration from the wide open and explorable world and then just pounded Skyrim into the earth with their greatness. It's sad to say, but it's obsolete now. It's still fun, it's still nostalgic, which does go a long way, but it's simply not as good a game objectively as Red Dead Redemption 2 or Breath of the Wild. And listen, I say this as a huge Skyrim fan, so I don't want to hear it, you crazy fanboys. The most alarming part of all this is that Bethesda still acts like they're the hottest kids on the block. Fallout 4 and Fallout 76 use the same old engine as Skyrim. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Well, it is broke. That engine worked well enough in 2011, back when we expected big games like Skyrim to be super glitchy. But the times they are a-changin', and don't get into the whole, well, they just replace and upgrade parts of the engine bit by bit, so it's kind of like a new engine thing. If that slowly updated engine is a brand new engine, it's a really poopy one. Look at Fallout 76, people. Other studios have realized that they've got to radically change their ways, and we frankly have not seen that from Bethesda at all. Just look at the differences between Red Dead 1 and 2, or Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild, or to use another great and more recent example, just between Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare. These games are fundamentally and utterly different from one another to the point that if not for the branding and recurring characters, you'd never even know they were from the same series. But somehow, so many of the same problems of Skyrim are still present in Bethesda's newer open-world games. Clunky combat, horrible dialogue, nasty NPC animations, and so many glitches. Fallout 76's whole next-day patch debacle should put to rest any illusions we have that Bethesda's still rocking the whole open-world thing. These problems were okay in 2011 when Skyrim was revolutionary in other ways, but now it's tired and old and icky and just sucks. I've got some hard words for Bethesda, and they are this. This next voyage into Tamriel has got to be as different from Skyrim as Breath of the Wild was from Skyward Sword. In fact, seeing as it will likely be 10 or 12 years between 5 and 6 by the time this pizza actually comes out of the oven, the better comparison might be between Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild. Every other major studio who makes open world games has upped their ante right through the ceiling, up into the sky, and then off wherever stuff that goes up in the sky goes. In the meantime, I really feel like Bethesda has been riding on name recognition and nostalgia, and I'm afraid that TES VI is going to come too late for them to rely on it anymore. Listen, I want to see this game succeed. Every other Elder Scrolls game since Morrowind has defined an era of my life, given me great memories on my own and with my brothers, and enchanted me with one of the richest fantasy video game worlds on offer. But I just can't get myself hyped about Elder Scrolls 6 until I see some evidence that Bethesda's set on fixing their crazy ways. I want to see cinematic cutscenes. I want to see gorgeous overworld graphics. I want to see fully fleshed out storylines complete with beautiful cutscenes and great voice acting. I want to see mechanics that seem consistent and interesting for combat and overworld exploration. I want this to be a truly next-gen game that retains the magic of the Elder Scrolls while picking up some of the magic of other great franchises of the past 8 years. Let me know if you guys think the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to rock it or suck it, and what you would like to see in one of gaming's greatest series' latest iteration. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe down below because that helps me so much, and we'll see you next time. Stay safe, stay healthy, bye-bye.